Hello and welcome to Going Green, a showcase of green technology, consumer tips, and from time to time even green getaways. This week we're heading to the Arctic to see how climate change is affecting its beautiful and isolated landscape. This was perhaps the ultimate field trip. 18 students from around the world on the voyage of a lifetime to the Arctic, courtesy of the WWF, the Worldwide Fund for Nature.
We started in Oslo. But then we got on a boat on Svalbard, which is a Norwegian archipelago at the 78th parallel, so pretty far up there in the Arctic Circle. We visited a Polish research station, some other research communities, walked on glaciers, saw sea ice, saw a polar bear.
The WWF sent the students on this voyage for the future to learn more about climate change. By witnessing the changes in the Arctic firsthand, the WWF hopes the students will use what they've learned to help convince political leaders that they must act quickly to combat the dangers of climate change. American student Ben Wessel says, despite the weighty issues involved, not to mention the frigid temperatures, the trip was a lot of fun.
You know, we really bonded so well that there was one day that we got to swim in the Arctic Ocean, and we just afterwards we were huddled together for warmth.
And with good reason.
The water was frigid. Air temperature is probably between 30 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
The students and WWF crew spent 12 days in the Arctic on board a former Russian research vessel. Ben says he was awestruck by the immense and isolated landscape before him as they traveled across the frozen wilderness.
And we thought it was amazing how small we are, but our impact on this natural environment is so huge that this place is disappearing quickly and that we need to take urgent action now to stop it.
Ben and the other 17 students on board wrote about their trips online. You can find Ben's blog at arcticben.wordpress.com. An Arctic voyage sounds fascinating, but if you prefer more temperate weather, try the south of France. Mais oui, life is good on the Canal du Midi, good for relieving stress and good for cutting down on the pollutants that boats normally spew. The Soleil Duc, meaning sun of Occitania, is an eco-boat that runs using 2 submerged engines fed by solar power. Traditional motorboats create waves and dispose waste, causing erosion and pollution. But this floating model doesn't damage the canal, sparing the atmosphere 9 metric tons of CO2 per year, making it an especially nice ride for tourists. The boat's solar power is collected by roof panels and stored in 2 big batteries, which during the spring and summer are powerful enough to keep it moving. On rainy days, the batteries are recharged at the docks overnight. Although there are solar cars out there, none seem to be very practical for going long distance while playing the radio and running the air conditioner. So what we need is a new kind of fuel, perhaps a biofuel, like this being produced by the Canadian company Energem. At this farm in Mozambique, a crop of jatropha seeds will be crushed and processed into biofuel that can be used in a standard diesel engine. Biofuel has been a rather contentious issue lately, being blamed at least partly for the rising cost of food. These plants, however, are not edible, and the soil they grow in is not suitable for most other crops. And the jatropha plantation has provided some much-needed jobs for the local community. That's all for this edition of Going Green, but we'll leave you with this tip on reducing your carbon footprint. Take a reusable cloth bag to the market when you go shopping to avoid using those plastic bags from the grocery store. The earth finds them hard to digest. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. I'm Rebecca Ward for voanews.com.